This is the Kia Xceed, and it's Kia's answer to the crossover market. I don't have any idea how these cars are, so let's have a look if it's any good. So as mentioned, the Kia Xceed is a crossover, and we can see it from a lot of different things of this car. It is a Kia Ceed, but it's an Xceed, so it's a crossover between off-road and a normal road car. So as we can see, we have roof racks, we have more rugged trims on the car, and it's a bit of a bummer, but on a lot of cars they aren't painted. Also on this one, this is the specific Platinum edition of the Kia Xceed, which does have a lot of extras, and we're gonna dive into them in a moment. So one thing which actually fascinates me, which I just learned about this car, is it does have keyless go and keyless start, but it isn't your usual keyless go and start, because usually you would put your hand in and put your hand against the door to open it, but it actually has a physical button, which kind of defeats the purpose of comfort entry in my opinion. So this Platinum edition of the Kia Xceed comes with 18-inch wheels. As far as I know, you can upgrade to 19-inch wheels. I do think these look good, but again, the trim could be painted, it could fill the arch a little bit more, but it does look nice. And we also have an electrically charging port at the front of the car, because this specific model is also on hybrid and the door closed. So I will show you. There you go. So you can charge your car in the front, and we'll talk about engine choices in a minute. Having a look at the front of the car, we can see that the car has LED headlights, it has fog lights, and it does have a nice design. It can vary depending on what kind of trim you choose. Again, this is the Platinum edition, and it's a plug-in hybrid, which also means that this grille is closed, as you have on a lot of hybrids or electric vehicles, because it helps airflow, battery charge, and a lot of other things, I guess. Apart from that, the front does look good. Again, we can see some Platinum details for the Platinum edition. And yet, again, the bottom half of the car, or not the bottom half, but the bottom trims aren't painted, but the car still looks nice. So taking a look at the back of the Kia Xceed, you can see that the car is a little bit higher than the normal Kia Ceed. We also have, again, with the Platinum edition, the Platinum trims. One thing which we couldn't leave out is the Vega exhaust pipes. From a distance, it does look good, but I think, yeah, it's under, there it is. It looks nice, but they should just change it, just put real exhaust underneath the car. But hey, it looks good on design. I really like the color of the car specifically also. We do have a backup camera in this case, tinted windows, electrically operated tailgate. It opens and closes electrically. And specifically with this car, you do have underfloor storage, but you can use it in this car because it's a plug-in hybrid and the battery is in it. So the boot capacity is a bit larger than in the Kia Ceed itself, but in the Xceed and specifically the plug-in hybrid options, it isn't that much bigger. So if you really wanted more boot space, you should just go for the Pro Seat, the station. And because it's a plug-in hybrid, you also have a charging cable which you can use. And furthermore, the boot's okay, but I do think it's a little bit smaller than what you wanted for this car. I do think it's a bit of a compromise. The boot could have been, yeah, more usable, but hey, it is what it is. If you have a look at the car, you can see that it has a place to pull down the trunk from. This is one which is electrically operated. So they put in a button, but they don't have the time and energy to replace this because it costs money and everyone wants to make the most money out of their cars. But this is a bit stupid because you won't be pulling it down with your hand because it doesn't go. So it looks a bit cheap. So taking a look at the engine of this specific Kia, we can already see it doesn't have gas struts, -1. Secondly, we see the plug-in hybrid engine. This specific car has a 1.6 liter hybrid engine, which puts out around 141 horsepower and should do 0 to 60 in 11 seconds flat. There are some different trims and engine choices, but there's a lot, so I'm just gonna put them here here in the screen because it's way too much to talk about. In this specific case, the engine bay is pretty filled. We can also see a separate coolant reservoir for the hybrid battery. And furthermore, it isn't that special to talk about. Kia does give a 7 years warranty on all their cars. I don't specifically know if it's a good warranty. I looked it up and people are very positive about it. So you let me know in the comments, is it any good? Do you have any experience with it? And while you're there, subscribe and like the video. So this is the first time sitting in the back of the Kia Xceed. It does have a leather interior, it looks luxurious. We also have a panoramic roof, which also gets a lot of sunlight in the car, which is nice. Being a Kia, it should lack a little bit in quality, so it looks like plastic, but everything beneath is just plastics, it's not really leather. One thing which is really nice is this specific car has a lot of options. So we do have electrically operated windows in the back, and we also have heated seats in the back, which is a very nice plus. But being a crossover car, you would think it has some more space, but the seat is in a normal seating position. It isn't really far to the back. I can stretch my legs out. They're kind of stuck. And I'm not even 6 foot. Yes, I'm a small guy. And yet I don't really have a lot of room. I don't think you could sit comfortably with 3 people in the back. And it's just a bit cramped. I wasn't expecting it from this car, but it isn't as spacious as you would think, and it isn't as comfortable. They could have used a bit more materials, as the car is pretty pricey in this range. And one thing, my arch nemesis is back. Give me a second. I'll be back. You see this? I think the guy which designed that Skoda came back. In the driver's seat of the Kia Xceed, it does look a little bit different than I anticipated. In this specific car, we do have a lot of options, also some of which I didn't expect. So we have heated seats on both sides. We have a heated steering wheel, which the button could be on the steering wheel itself. And we also have ventilated seats, which I have never used, and I didn't even expect this car to have. So that's really nice of this car. We do have a screen, a big screen, and you can get up to 10.25 inch, if I'm not mistaken, depending on what kind of trim you choose. You do have physical buttons and a climate control, which, as you all know, I'm a big fan of, because it's just way easier to use, way easier when you're driving. The steering wheel looks nice, the dashboard looks nice. It's actually a little bit better than I had anticipated. In this specific model, they could have used a black roof lining, but that doesn't matter too much. You do have electrically operated seats and also memory seats, so way more than I was expecting in this car. We do have cup holders which you can actually use while using your armrests, so that's very nice of this car. To make the experience even more comfortable, which is something which I really didn't expect, and it should be an option in a lot more cars, but getting in and out of the car, the electrically operated seats go back and also to the position in which you drive to make it easier to get in and out of the car. So if I open the door and you look at the seat, it goes back, so I have even more room to get out of the car. And by closing, it goes to seating position again. One thing I've never used is automatic parking, and this car has it, so we're gonna try it out. So we are actually in front of some parking spaces, and we are gonna try it. So we do have a button here, automatic parking. So I'm pressing it. It's looking for a parking space. Alright, so taking the first drive in this car. It starts up using EV only, so electric mode only, and that's what we're using at this moment. The car is pretty quiet, and it's nice. It's nice if you want to reduce emissions for some other reason, or you want to drive out of your neighborhood being really quiet. But otherwise, it's for city miles, because a lot of cities nowadays don't allow petrol and diesel engines anymore. So then you could use a hybrid. So in this case, this car would be a good choice for that. And also, it usually gives the car some more horsepower. And this car specifically has a bit more torque than the normal Xceed models or Xceed models. It has around 220 Newton meters of torque, if I'm not mistaken. So I can already feel it while you're not even really pushing the throttle. It does, it wants to go a little bit. It has the power to go. It's not a really fast car, but 141 horsepower will get you from A to B. It is also okay on the highway, because you know what you're buying, and you're not buying a sports car. You're buying a car to drive in comfortably in the city, and that's also what they're advertising it for. So as mentioned, you can use about 50 kilometers on a full electric charge. Most people will, I think, average around 30 to 40, but they like to say that you can do 50, and with the petrol engine you could squeeze out, I think, about 600 kilometers. So around 650 kilometers on a full tank and charge in this specific car. Maybe if you're a bit easy on the drive, easy on the right foot, maybe you could get 700 or even more. But I think most people average around 600 kilometers. And I do have to say, the electric miles are pretty smooth. They really are a bit better than I expected. Turning circle is all right. Ooh, the backup camera doesn't look so good, guys. No, it's not looking good, bruv. This is the 480p rear viewing camera. I do have to say Volkswagen does it a bit better, but yeah, it's a nice option to have, and it does work, but it's not the most crisp camera they sell for a car like this. So when introduced, the Kia Xceed, this specific model, it costs around 30 to 40,000 euros in the Netherlands, depending on what kind of model, trim, whatever you choose. And nowadays the new facelifted model costs around 42,000 euros to start with. So it isn't the most expensive car, but it isn't really cheap either. And we haven't drove a lot, but I do have to say it does compare good to, for example, Volkswagen cars. So for example, the T-Roc or Skoda Kamiq, for example. It does also have a lot more options. It looks better, but we're gonna find out how it drives, so bear with me. Alright, so driving on the highway, I do have to say the car makes a little bit more noise than I thought, also in electric mode. All the windows are closed, the sunroof is closed, and I think it's a bit of tire noise, but that can change depending on what kind of tires you have. The car is pretty smooth, and also the gear changes are better than I expected. It also does have a normal gearbox. It is a 6-speed gearbox, an automatic one. On other models you can get a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, the normal DSG, which everyone knows. A lot of hybrids also have the eCVT gearbox, which should make for a bit of a more smoother experience. But this one has a normal automatic gearbox because Kia wanted to give you the feeling that you were still driving a normal petrol car, so that's pretty fun to know. I do have to say the gear shifts are still pretty seamless, so that's very comfortable. But still in electric mode only, electric hybrid mode, I do feel that it's lacking a little bit of power. Even if you're punching the throttle a little bit, it does take it takes some time before it really gets going. Of course, that would be different if you're just flooring it or going in sport mode. But it is comfortable. I have also driven the T-Roc, and I do have to say it's pretty comparable. I do think, for example, that the T-Roc is a bit better over speed bumps. I do think this looks the best, and it's something different. It's not a car which everyone drives. And yet again, it has a lot of options, which leaves me a bit flabbergasted because I didn't really expect that much from Kia. But the crossover that they have, the way it looks, the way it drives, all of the options which you have for the money which you're paying, it's a pretty good deal, because all of the other cars, the options are very expensive or don't even exist, such as the ventilated seats in this one. So it did catch me off guard a little bit. Alright, so what I am going to try one time is the sport mode. So I have a little button here, sport, dashboard changes. Let's see. Okay. So the car makes a little bit of noise. It doesn't really want to scream a lot. The steering is a little bit more heavy, I would say. Gas response is definitely a lot better, but I do have to say, I thought that it would be quicker. And I think that's a little bit because of the horsepower it has. It has 141 horsepower, which isn't a lot. It's okay to go by for a city car like this, or your daily commutes going to work and coming back. But in sport mode, while punching the throttle, I would have expected a little bit more. I'm not lying. The torque is nice. You can really feel the hybrid system helping the car. It still lacks a little bit of power, and I don't have to say that it has to be insanely quick, but I think it could just be a little bit more snappy. So what's my final verdict on the Kia Xceed? It's really nice. It had way more options than I thought. It was way more comfortable than I thought. It also had way less space than I thought. So depending on what you're looking for, this can be a great car, and definitely also second-hand, the price could be way better. So in my opinion, it's a very nice car.